through us. I just thank God. I just thank God. Well, turn with me, if you please, to Hebrews, the 12th chapter. Very familiar verse. And I believe that I could ask Charlotte, because she keeps up with every preach word that comes by way since she's been here. I'm sure that this particular passage of scripture has been used before. But God always has a new way of giving us things that we say are old. Yes. And I'm just so thankful to hear it. Even if the new becomes old and old is old and it's still God's word, I'm glad about it. Yes. Let us stand as we read, because I'm going to read only that second sentence of verse 1 of chapter 12. Yes. That sentence begins by saying, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. Father, thank you.
Thank you, Jesus.
Now, Lord, I am here as your vessel. But God, there'll be no preaching if you don't do it. And so, God, I invite you again to come and do your own preaching. Just keep the mouth open and the voice going, and the ears open and the mind receiving that which you have us all to hear. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. You may take your seats. For a subject, we're just going to use very simply, in the race to win. We're in the race to win. Well, we're 6 days into 219. But my pastoral assistant had me thinking, Sister Minnie, that I had slept a whole year. Brother Otis, it wasn't my fault that I had to void those checks. But somebody told me, no, Pastor, it's not 2019, it's 2020. And I said, Sister Sam, no. What? She said, you're right, in 2019, 2020. I said, Sister Minnie, why? I said, Sister Minnie, where have I been? Did something happen? You know what I'm talking about, like when the movies, Brother Allen, did I sleep through something? You know what the movies, when you pick them, you go back and you go back. And I was trying to, I'm serious. I got ready, I'm telling you, Sister Minnie probably see it on my face. Because Sister Minnie, what year is it? She said, Mother, it's 2019. 2019. So I said, is it 1999? I mean,
my God.
Folk can confuse you so.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
But Brother Otis, I just want you to know, that wasn't my fault when I told you you had to void out some of these checks. I wrote it right. The one thing that was going on, it was that the date was wrong. But my loving daughter back there corrected me and told me, no, Mother, not 2019, 2020.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, she did that. She did that to me this morning. I don't know whether that was, what do you call me? Somebody said, you got pumped. I don't know whether she was testing me or what. But praise God for my friend, Sister Minnie, that brought me back to where I thought I was. But anyway, we're 6 days into 2019. It's a new year.
Yes, it is.
And we're also into the second month of winter. And some of you are probably looking forward to spring. I'm sure Brother Otis is one of them. And I like springtime because, for one thing, my birthday comes in the spring. But there are some things that come along with spring that sometimes unnerve me. But when I think about the spring, I think about baseball fans who are looking forward to the Braves losing a game. And I'm not a baseball fan, though Elder played baseball for the Black Minor League. I would go with him, sit with him, watch it, but I never could get into it. The baseball. I enjoyed watching the little leaguers play and that kind of thing, but baseball really was not what just really, as some of us just really want to see. But I tell you, I guess I would not be known as a sports fan.
No.
But there's a sport that I have always enjoyed watching. You know what? The Lord just reminded me of what that walk was about. But I haven't been a part of it, not even in high school. But if I'm correct, Sister Minnie, isn't Brittany a runner?
Yeah.
Okay, it came to my mind. Running track. I have always enjoyed that sport, watching it. Never participated in it, but I've always been fascinated with seeing them run. And it seems like they don't ever get out of breath. Just running. I was in school, when I was in school, which was a long time ago, and they still had, had track then, so some of you young folks said, they had that then. Yeah, they had it then too. But I can recall seeing them getting prepared for track and field. And whether it was on an oval track or a grassy field where I was really played on, whether it was what they call trail racing or just fun runs or obstacle racing or triathlons or marathons, it was a race. And what I can understand is that these runners had to have been preparing sometimes all year long for this one race. And then I began to think, when I was thinking about the race, and I said, now, they were the runners, but there was always somebody who had been keeping and getting the track ready for the runner. And from the little that I know, and I don't know a lot about it, but I can watch it, there is so much preparation that was involved. There was an adult, but there were also students who had been recruited to work with the coach to do what had to be done. I do know, and Sister Minnie probably can attest to this, that the earlier the runners get started preparation, the better their chances would be for winning.
Yes.
They had to get their minds right. They had to get focused on everything that was coming in this race. They had to be ready. And not only their minds, but they had to get their bodies in shape. And as I said, the track or the running area also had to be made ready. Okay? What do you mean, Pastor? All of us will be watching soon the Peachtree Road Race. Now, right now, every car under the name of heaven that folk drive in Atlanta goes up and down Peachtree Street.
Yes, they do.
But at some point, when it comes time for the Peachtree Road Race, somebody has got to clear
Yes.
that street
That's good.
of trash and debris,
Yeah.
and then they're going to shut off
Yes, they gonna shut it off.
the side streets.
Yeah.
And the only street that's going to be open is the one that will be for the runners only.
Amen.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm preaching right now.
Yes, you are.
And though we say runners, that's what the Lord just showed me when I was saying, just showed me something. Some on that track, they're walking.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're walking at the same old pace that they walked before they got on the track. But I tell you what, if they walk long enough,
They'll get there.
they are going to get there, Sister Shaw. They're going to get there even at their own pace. Some will be running to the point where you just wonder, how much more can they take? Grabbing a cup of water along the way and keep running. But the walkers, everybody's passing. But they still on the track, just walking. Running always had my attention because I can't understand the speeds. And that has always amazed me. And while the walkers are stepping at their own pace, they're steady moving.
Yes, they are.
That's right.
They're not standing still, Mother. They're still moving towards the end of the track.
Amen.
Now, even on the tracks in high school and in college, somebody has the assignment to keep it clean of trash.
Yes.
We don't see cups out there. We don't see bottles. Even chewing gum wrappers have to be picked up. Paper on the track. Why do you think that's so, Carolyn? Because debris can distract.
Yes. Yes.
And not only can it distract, but it could cause a runner to stumble and fall. And sometimes get hurt. You see, the runner has been trained
Yes.
never to look down while you run. Don't look down.
Don't look down.
But keep your eyes ahead of you. You may not see the end right away, but you know it's there. And so don't keep your head down because you might miss it. But keep looking straight ahead. The trainer has trained the runners. Don't get injured or stumble or think you see something down on that track that you need to pick up. Let somebody else do it. But for now, you're going to race to run. Never look down. Keep your eyes and your mind on the race, and then your job is to make it to the finish line.
Amen. Amen.
And I just come this morning
Yes.
to remind us that on this first Sunday in this new year, that we have been ordered by our God, who is our track and our field keeper
Yes.
of our souls,
Yes.
to keep our eyes on the prize. Now, what prize you talking about? The prize called heaven. The prize called heaven. I sat there a minute ago, and I'm still thinking about the word. I said it, but God, we can't get the prize inside here. At some point, there's going to be an exit sign. And I looked up there, Mother, and I said, that's the only way to get to heaven. We've got to exit. We've got to exit. But until we begin to exit, keep our minds and our eyes on the Lord. As long as we stay saved. So Jerry reminded us yesterday, not only saved, but born again.
Yes.
As long as we are there, heaven is in our view, and the way we keep it in our view, Paul writes to the believer, he says, we've got to lay aside
Yes.
every weight, not 1, 2, or 3 out of 5, but every weight and sin, he says, that can get in our way or has already gotten in our way. Because these weights and these sin has the potential to beset us.
Yes, yes.
Or it is already beset us.
That's right.
Or it's in the process of besetting us.
My God.
And I'm going to tell you something else. It will continue to beset us as long as we feel that we belong to the Lord and we've asked God to save us one time, but here comes the beset.
My God.
And the besets come to do just what the word said. It will beset you. Well, what do you mean, Pastor? What does beset mean that we can understand what is written? Well, beset is not a hard word to understand.
No, it's not.
We don't hear this word a lot, and we don't use it often. But Paul says it, writes it, and it gets our attention.
Amen.
Let me just tell you what beset simply means. Beset simply means that something and it, or someone, a he or a she, is a problem. Something that's a problem.
Amen. Amen.
That's what beset means.
Yeah.
Or it is trouble. Or it can be a threat. It can be a problem. It can be trouble. It can be a threat. Coming by way of something or someone that attacks us or harasses us spiritually, physically, or mentally, and it distracts us or torments us or bother us constantly and repeatedly, and then it becomes a weight and a sin. Now, some of these things that beset us, they're dressed up pretty.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen.
They look pretty good.
Yeah.
A beset can even speak well.
Come on.
All right, now.
Got the right words to say.
Amen.
And you're taken in by them. You've been beset. I like to say you've been set up. Not beset, you've been set up.
Say it, Pastor.
And when you are, that thing or that person becomes a weight.
Yeah.
And when you let it hang around you long enough, then it becomes a sin.
Yes. Yes.
And one thing we need to know, listen clearly. Jesus is not a weight giver.
My God.
Don't tell that lie
Jesus.
and say, you know, well, the Lord just got me in this place right now. He ain't no weight giver. There you got it, brother.
That's it.
He's a weight lifter. And my word would be, he's a weight exterminator.
Yes, he is.
And a sin deliverer. Because sometimes the weight, they're so small, only the eye and the nose of an exterminator
My God. Good.
can recognize it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And that's what he becomes. He becomes a sin exterminator. He ain't no weight giver.
That's right.
So, if Jesus is not first in our lives, in order for him to have the right place in our our lives. We've got to allow him to take the first place in our lives. But let me fix this one, because I don't want you to get out here confused.
Sunday school.
We allow him to take the first place in us. He ain't gonna come and bogart his way in.
That's right.
He ain't gonna come in and bogart. But you've got to get to a place where you say, what I'm doing is messing up. What I'm doing, it ain't working. What the enemy of my soul is doing ain't working. Something's wrong up in here.
Yes.
I need something else. And I think the something I need is called Jesus.
Yes, it is. Yes.
And so Jesus says, I need you
Yes.
to help me get rid of all this other stuff.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you, would you please
Yes, my God.
take the first place
Yeah.
in my life? Yes? There are things that Jesus will do for us.
Amen.
But some things we have to do for ourselves.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Jesus sees us in sin and acting a fool and acting in a way that is unseemly. He ain't gonna come in and say, you know what, I'm just tired of you acting like that. I'm just gonna take you and I'm just gonna come into you. No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. Some things we gotta do for ourselves. First of all, we've gotta want to get rid of weights.
Yes, that's right.
We've gotta want to get rid of them. And sometimes we can get so accustomed to them, we think we're all right.
Amen.
We think we're fine, mother.
That's right.
You know, you're just as lost as you can be. Lost. Lost. Some of us can go somewhere in the car. Someone who will remain nameless. When you started off, you knew where you were going.
Say it again.
And all of a sudden, you're driving.
Right.
And you have to say, where was I? How did I get here?
Amen.
When I started to go there. And then you say, God, I thank you.
That's it.
That's what sin does. Sin will let you go for a while because he knows you're on the road with Jesus.
Right.
He knows it. But what his job is to stop you before you get there. Stop you before you get there. Get you so confused, you won't know where you are but for Jesus.
That's right.
But for Jesus.
Yes, God.
Paul says we have to lay aside every weight, all of the weights, all of the sin that we have to want to get rid of in our lives. And when we want to do it, Jesus will come along and he say, I'll help you.
Amen.
But I ain't going to just take it.
Come on.
You have to want to get rid of it.
Right.
You have to want to get rid of it. You see, the coach and the trainer has given and trained the runner
Yes.
with everything that they need. He has told them what to do. The legs get tired, keep moving them. Keep moving them. See, that's why I wouldn't make a racer, a runner. Because I would say, you know what? As for me, this ain't mine. I'm sitting down.
Amen.
And that's the way it is with Jesus. If you want to sit down on him, he ain't going to tell you to get up. Sit down. Sit down. But then when you're ready, mother, he says, I'm here.
Amen.
I'll help you. Now, the one thing that I have observed with runners, remembering back, that the runner knows, Brother Allen, that the coach is somewhere nearby.
Yeah.
Amen.
See, they know he's somewhere. He may be in the coach's box. He may be just sitting down in the grass somewhere where they don't. But he knows
Hallelujah, Jesus.
that he's somewhere watching, sister. The coach is there watching, seeing if they're doing everything that I've trained them to do. But then when these two, when they pass by him, he doesn't scream at them, but he says, keep running,
Yeah.
keep running. But coach, I'm tired. Keep running,
Amen.
keep running. Coach on Thursday said, drink a little bit of water, but keep running.
Yeah.
Keep running. He never said, don't sit down. You're in the race now. Keep running.
Thank you, Jesus.
Just remember, I've given you everything that you will need to complete this race. And saints, sometimes we're the same way as Christians. Sometimes we feel like we just can't run any longer. We can't do this anymore. I've been in it long enough. I'm ready to get out of it. And this is the time the runner's manual says, you can do
Yeah.
all things through Christ,
Yeah.
Jesus, who gives you strength. You can do all things through Christ, who gives you strength. I can do all things through Christ, who gives me strength. I can do all things through Christ, which gives me strength. He's hurting, but I'm going to do it. I can do all things through Christ, because he said so. I can do all things through Christ, because he said so. All we need to do is just stay in the race. If we come in last. If we don't make number one, if we come in last. Brother, we'll still make it in.
Hallelujah.
Part is we've got to make it
Yeah.
to the finish line.
Yeah.
We've got to hear the coach say, well done, Carolynn. Well done. You see, in the natural race, there's only one winner.
Yeah.
But in the spiritual race, it doesn't matter what number you got, what number you've been assigned. Doesn't matter if you're 15, 50, or 105. When you cross the line, you still win. You still win. You still win. And you may ask yourself, how can I do that? Well, the Bible says, run with patience. Don't get distracted. And keep your eyes on Jesus. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Why, Pastor? Because he's the author and he's the finisher of our faith, of our salvation. He never made a promise to us that he wouldn't keep. Bless the name of See, I found him to be the author of the book. The author
Yes, he is. Yes.
of our salvation.
Yeah.
He wrote the how-to book. He wrote the what-for book. And all we have to do is keep bringing the manual back to our minds. And remember, we can do all things. We can do all things. What do you mean, Pastor? Anything the Lord puts in your mind that's godly, we can do it.
Yes, we can.
We can do all things through Christ. How can we do it? Some of us are old. Ain't got to do with your age.
That's right.
Because the Bible says we can do it through him because he gives us strength.
Yes, he does.
And we can't give up.
No, we can't.
And we can't give in. If we stumble while we're running, that's all right.
Amen.
And even if we fall, just get up. Don't stay there in a fallen position.
My God.
But get up and get back in the race.
Yes, Lord.
Remember, Jesus cleared off the track.
Yes, it is.
He cleared off the track. And even while running, if something gets on the track, he's the only one that can still clear it. I don't care what has gotten in your way. Jesus is a track clearer.
Hey.
Yeah. He clears the track.
Thank you, Lord.
See, the enemy will come and tell you that you're no longer where you used to be. He be telling you the truth. But see, he can't go no further than that.
That's right.
Because if we stumble, well, if we fail, even if we got hurt, while we were running, Jesus said, get back. Get back in the race. Because every sin and every weight is nailed to the cross.
Yes, yes.
Every sin,
It is. Yes, it is.
every weight. Because you don't know the things I've done. I sure don't and don't care to know. But the Bible reminds us it's in the cross.
Yes.
He didn't shed his blood just because he was a bleeder.
Come on now.
But every sin and weight is nailed to the cross. Everything we need is in the blood.
Amen.
I'm just about done.
Take your time.
But I just want you to hear. Says everything, every sin, every weight
Amen.
is in the shed blood.
Yes, yes.
It would be interesting to see any of us find the cross, first of all, and go through the blood and find your sin. Can't do it.
My God.
Oh.
We can't do it.
Right.
Doesn't matter to Jesus how we fail and how we failed him along the way. Doesn't matter. God is that kind. God ain't like one of them Negroes that hold stuff and remember stuff. My only question is with folks like that, and I got some in my family.
We all do.
Because I want to know when you start telling me what they did to you 50 years ago, I want to tell them so bad I know what you did last year.
Yes. Amen.
See? But we serve Jesus, and he's not like that. He has forgotten that mess. And we're trying to hold on to it. Now, the sad part about it, let other folk hold it. If they want to carry your old stuff, the mess and junk, let them carry it. My concern is you don't have to carry your mess. It's over. It's over.
Oh.
Because now our great coach
Hey.
is in heaven.
Yes. Yes.
Watching out for us. And when he sees trash and debris in our lives, on our track, when he sees sin creeping in, he lets us know.
Yes, he does.
Keep your mind and your eyes on me.
Yes.
Don't keep it on yourself. Because let me tell you something. Self is one of the world's and human beings' worst enemies.
Amen.
Yes, Lord.
Self. Self will try to tell you you can do everything, or self will tell you you can't do nothing.
That's right. That's right.
Keep our minds
Jesus.
on Jesus.
Yes.
Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
Not on ourselves, not on other folks, not on other things,
Yes.
not on our selfish desires. But if you just can remember one thing, Lord, Sometimes in the natural, I don't see very good, so you don't have to. Tell me about it.
Amen.
And I'll see what your mind is trying to make you say. So God, I'll say it the best way I can. God, I failed.
My God.
I didn't do what I promised you that I would do. God, there's a heaviness in me. I don't want to be like this. But I don't know what to do. Because I've got folk on the outside saying, I know you didn't have nothing nowhere. I know she wasn't going to make it.
My God. My God.
But Jesus said, I said you could. I said you can. And if you want to get back on the track, I say you will. I'll tell you something. Even when you think folk are running faster than you, just stay in your lane. I can tell you on that. Stay in your lane. Stay in the race. Keep in mind, 2018 is history. All that's gone.
Yes, it is.
It's gone. And I'm believing God to see, for us to see him do some things that we never would have thought. He's going to use some folk that we would have counted out.
Amen.
But you see, you don't know God's record. You don't know his book of record keeping. You don't know. You're not God. I'm believing him to do something among us as a family of God in 2019 that we never would have thought. And I don't mean little things, but I mean great and wonderful things. And all we've got to do is just remember is that we're in this race to complete it.
Yeah.
Because we're going to look to Jesus, who is the author and the finisher of our faith.
Yes, Lord.
Well, in closing, I don't have to remind you, but I will. This is the first Sunday of this new year. And I just think it's a good time to make a commitment to God. But Pastor, I'm saved, so have I. I've been born again, so have I. I made some mistakes along the way, Pastor, this past year, so have I. But every time we make a mistake, acknowledge it.
Amen. That's it.
Don't let the enemy get by with it. Acknowledge your errors, your mistakes.
Amen.
And then say to God, God, I didn't like that. I failed. I didn't do this. I'm not saying you went out and killed nobody. But sometimes it's the little things. Sometimes it's those little foxes that will get to us. And all we've got to say, God, I got in this race to win. And so I'm asking us, Blessed Hope, first of all, if we would just stay together.
Yes.
Stay together in Christ. Because I want us to make an impression. Not just only on Gwinnett County, but I want us to make an impression in this world. What kind of impression are you talking about, Pastor? One that will say to the world, there's a group of folk that live holy. They don't fall for every wind and doctrine that blows their way, and then they later find out that it was only a wind. But I want for us to understand that the only way that we want to blow our way is the mighty wind of the Holy Ghost. Would you stand with us as we close? I just want to say to all of us, if you're not in the race of holiness, get saved.
Right.
You need to be born again. And if you are saved, you need to be filled with the power of the Holy Ghost. There are no magic words to be said. There's no oil to throw on you. But it's yours from a confessing and asking. When you confess to God, God, I need your power. I can't run this race in my own, God. I need your power. And I just want to tell you that it's yours for the asking. And when he fills us, I mean when he showed up, fills us, then we can run this race that is set before us. And I know we can do it because the chief coach of our lives, Jesus Christ, is cheering us on. I believe he's in heaven right now saying, you can do it. You're not by yourself. You can do this. Blessed hope. Let's rededicate and renew our promise to God. To serve him and to live holy. Some of you saying, well, I would if you would, Pastor. Well, I'm here. Have I made mistakes? I have. Did I intend to make them? No. But I made them. And so I'm standing before God saying, Lord, all that I didn't do that I could have done, I'm sorry. Would you fix it? I won't beg you to come. But if you've got something just that little that you want the Lord to fix and make us whole again,